let's start with a couple of techniques that I want to show you that you can do with your stamps. I have this tag over here. Now I'm going to start by showing you how to do your basic level masking. Now what masking essentially is covering your one image with some sort of paper and then stamping over it. I tend to use either a post-it note or some sort of sticky paper. So I have this post-it and I have this tinier version of post-it. When you're doing masking, the thinner the paper you have, the better result you will get at masking. So let me just start out and I'll show you how I mask. So I'm starting out with one of my favorite stamps in the world, and you can see by this color that this stamp is basically turned black, but still I get a clear impression because I condition my stamp every time I use it. So I shall place my stamp facing down, use my acrylic block and pick it up. For this purpose I'm using Memento, one of my favorite black inks, and I'm going to be stamping with it. Give a good coverage. Now the first thing is I'm going to be deciding how I want my images to be. Do I want the topmost butterfly to be in the front, or do I want my lowermost butterfly to be in the front? Whatever you mask will be in front. Whatever you stamp after that will go in the background. Let me just show you. So I have stamped this one right on top at an angle. Then I shall take my post-it note, and always make sure you stamp a part of your image on the side that has the sticky strip. So here is my sticky strip. I'm inking the stamp again, stamping it such that I get a little bit of the image on the sticky side. Now I'm going to take my scissors and cut out this image completely. Okay, so now I have my mask cut out of my post-it note, and I'm going to place this mask. Now remember, this side is sticky. The upper part where I stamped over the sticky strip is sticky, and I'm going to cover this. As much as I can place it. Okay, so now I've covered this butterfly. Now I'm going to stamp over it again. So I'm going to ink up my stamp again, and this time let's go this way. So now what I have done is I have stamped over my mask. So wherever my mask is, it will prevent an overlapping. So when I remove this, you will see that the second butterfly is behind the first. Now if I want to give another masked butterfly, I will reuse this mask, place it again on the butterfly that I have stamped, ink my butterfly and stamp again. And when I lift, I have another beautiful impression. So using this same masking technique, I have made this bookmark. So you can see the first one that is stamped is always in the foreground, the others will go behind it, and then you can color it, cover it up, and you have a beautiful set of masked images which are not overlapping. So that is your basic masking. Okay, now I will show you what is reverse masking. So let's jump on to that. Let me just clean up my stamp and clean up my area, and I can always save these masks on my stamp. I can just stick them and I can reuse them whenever I need to use it again. Okay, so now coming to reverse masking. Reverse masking is the opposite of masking. In masking, we are covering our main image. In reverse masking, we are creating a window and then stamping our image within that window. So let me show you how we go about it. I'm taking a post-it and creating a circle mask. I'm just stamping it and placing it in one corner. Now I have to make sure that any other space outside is completely covered. So I'll take another post-it and mask this area as well, so that I only get an image within this circle. I'll take my foam blending tool and create a soft background for my stamp. Because I'm coloring over this mask, ink will only be over here. I'll take my memento, ink it up and stamp half on, half off. Probably one tiny image in this little corner. Okay, now what happens is when you lift this mask, when I lift this mask, oh come on, this is what you get. So whatever the area outside, it hasn't been stamped. Only got ink in this area and stamping in this area. Now if you do not have stamps, punches, another easy way to do it is to use your invisible tapes or your regular masking tape, painter's tape, any other tape that you have. Let me show you something with this as well. So taking a bit of this tape, lining it with my grill. You have to be sure what area you want to mask in. So I'll probably go in here. I'm not a fan of cutting with scissors, as you can see. Right. And you need not necessarily use small stamps. You can as well use your larger background stamps. Say I'll use this one. Right. I'll use this with peacock feathers. And stamp it. Now what I get once I lift this is an image that has a boundary of its own. Isn't that awesome? So this is another really fun technique that I love doing with my stamps, is using a lot of masking, especially if you're trying to create one layered cards. Using your masking tape, your invisible scotch tape or your post-it notes is a wonderful way to get dimension without adding bulk to your cards. So let me clean out this baby quickly. So now I'm going to show you something called as selective inking. Selective inking is basically using your stamps in a way completely different than how they were designed. Now supposing I have this stamp. It says sweet birthday wishes, but I want them in a straight line, or probably I don't want the word sweet, I just want birthday wishes. So how do I do? Let me just show you. What I do is, let's start with let me show you with this. So I have this sweet birthday wishes, but I only want the word birthday wishes. Now one way to get your stamps to be straight when you're picking them up on your acrylic block is to place them on your mat, line them up with the lines and then lift up, so you can be sure you have a perfectly straight sentiment. Now I do not want the word sweet, so what I'm going to do is pick up a bit of scotch tape or my masking tape, and I'm going to place it over the word sweet. Then I'm going to take my ink pad and dab over it. And then remove the tape and carefully see if there are edges that haven't been inked. Just making sure that nothing of the sweet has inked, and then I can take and stamp it, and I've only got the word birthday wishes. So I've selectively inked only 2 parts of it, leaving the word sweet. So you can use your tapes to do this. Let me show you another example. Now because this is my first inking of this stamp, I need to use my eraser, which seems to be lost. Okay, and just run over it, place it on my block. Now in this stamp I want to stamp the word heart in red and the rest in black. So what I'm going to do is again pick up my tape, oops, put it over the word heart, ink it in black. Where is my black? Here it is. So I'm going to ink it, lift this up and make sure that none of the edge or anything has got any black ink. Hold it and stamp it down, lift it up. Now I have to clean my stamp very thoroughly to make sure I don't ink it up again. Now I'm going to take the tape. You could reuse, just clean and reuse your tape. And make sure I cover the last part. And then now I'm going to take pale tomato and ink up my heart word. And again lift off my tape, making sure that there is no ink on any other words. Now because this is a clear stamp, I can look through and place it right exactly where it's meant to go, and you have a selectively inked stamp. So this is another way you can use your stamps. Right now I'm going to show you rock and roll stamping. Doesn't mean that you have to actually do rock and roll. Let me pick a stamp that will show it better actually. Okay, let me pick up this huge butterfly. So I'm placing this So what rock and roll essentially means, first you take a light color. I'm using red and brown for this. Right, so I'm using a light color. I'm using red to completely cover this butterfly. Then I'm going to take another ink and just rock it on the edges of this butterfly. Now this is the reason why I love these teardrop ink pads, because it allows you to get close to the edge without completely contaminating the color. If it was this big ink pad, I probably would not have been able to get close to this. So now having done that, I will stamp it. So that gives you a little bit of red with brown mixed in red. So another example, perhaps let's do the same thing but using orange. And now I'm just going to use the tip of my ink pad to go around the corner. Just a bit. And I'm going to stamp it. So without any effort, just using my ink pads, I'm able to get such beautiful, beautiful images. You can mix and match any color. The only rule to remember is your lightest color goes first and then your darker color. So really hope you've enjoyed this little introduction to stamping, and I really hope that you would love to learn more techniques. If you do, please leave a comment below the video. If you like our video, please give it a thumbs up so that we know that you like it and we can continue to make much more videos for you. Signing off for today. See you with another video. Happy crafting!